No DQ Galaxy, we are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for February 12th, 2024. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. We have WWE Elimination Chamber coming up. We had a couple of qualifying matches on this show. We kicked off Monday Night Raw with a match for a change. That doesn't happen often. We had Jey Uso and the New Day going up against the three members of Imperium. Good guys, had a hot start. They all took turns stopping a mud hole in Ludwig Kaiser and walking it dry. But then Gunther tagged in. He teased going after Jey, but then tagged right back out. He tagged in once Jey was down, and it was easy for Gunther to take advantage of it. And then after the commercial break, Kofi Kingston started to make a comeback for his team, but then he got thrown into the steel steps. Imperium regained the upper hand. Gunther was trash talking to Jey. Jey got in the ring. He slapped Gunther, and the referee had to stop Jey because Jey was not the legal man. Jey eventually got the hot tag. Gunther got in the ring, went at it with Jey, and then Gunther was able to take control. He mocked Jey as he was on the top rope. Then he went for the big splash, but Jey got his knees up, and then Jey hit a spear, went for the cover, pin was broken up. Vinci tagged back in, but he got hit with the 1D, and then Jey came off the top with the Uso splash to pin Giovanni Vinci. Good match here to start off the show, build up some momentum for Jey. No surprise here, the outcome. We had footage shown from the WrestleMania kickoff and the slap heard around the world when The Rock slapped Cody Rhodes, and they hyped up Cody Rhodes addressing the WWE fans. We then had our first qualifying match of the evening. Bobby Lashley versus Big Bronson Reed. Now, Lashley attempted the Hurt Lock right away, could not get it. This was a back and forth competitive match. Bronson Reed went up to the top to try and finish off Lashley, but Lashley caught him, slammed him to the mat, and then hit the spear to get the 1-2-3 victory. Now, I was surprised by this. I figured Bronson Reed was going to win since he is a native of Australia, easy for me to say. But several people pointed out to me that back in August, Bronson Reed announced that his wife was expecting, and it is close to 9 months. So maybe Bronson's not going to be traveling because of that. I'm not sure what the deal is, but yeah, I figured that we would have interference from Karrion Kross, and they would cost Lashley the match, and Bronson Reed would go to elimination in his home country, but it was not meant to be. And there is no second chance match for the men. All 12 contenders were already revealed, so there's 6 matches. They are doing it with the women, though. More on that here in a few moments. Hamp Connell sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Hamp. Says, this 3-hour format has got to go in 2025. It's a chore. I think everybody would prefer it, but Netflix is paying for 3 hours, and I don't see that changing. If WWE can get the big bucks on a 3-hour show, it's going to be what it's going to be, and we're just going to have to live with it. If it's that much of a chore, you can always watch the YouTube clips, watch this, and see what I think, and then go from there. there's other ways to consume the WWE programming besides watching a live 3-hour show. I personally would not recommend it. Like I think you can get the gist of what's going on through the YouTube clips. We had a vignette for Andrade. He is back in WWE. He is part of Monday Night Raw. And it was a well-produced vignette. Footage was shown of him at 13. He talked about winning titles in WWE, but it wasn't enough. He needed to leave 3 years ago to remember who he was. I'm sure that was the reason. And he said that he knows the direction is now clear. Guess we'll see what's up with him. I feel like he's probably not going to be a big part of the storylines until after WrestleMania. I could see several of these vignettes airing for him over the next several weeks, but I feel like he's going to be just built up until after WrestleMania. We had Sami Zayn in a follow-up sit-down interview. He was in the empty arena again with what's her name, the new woman they got doing the interviews. I forgot her name. Chat room, help me out here. He once again said that the belief in himself is what carried him to WrestleMania, and he stands by what he said. Despite his loss to Randy Orton, he feels he is still a contender. And then Sami Zayn was interrupted by Shinsuke Nakamura, who was on the big screen, and we had subtitles. Which was this a live interruption or was this a video interruption, a pre-recorded video interrupting Zayn? Either way, these segments are a bit goofy in my opinion. Jackie Redmond is the interviewer, so thank you for that, Michael Wayne. Michael Wayne is our certified expert who is able to bring up all these stats. He knows everything. So if I miss something, if I get something wrong, Michael Wayne can always help me with that. So thank you, Michael. We had Cody Rhodes come into the ring for the big promo to explain why he changed his mind. Well, I'm just going to say right off the bat here, I was a little disappointed with Cody's promo because I felt like he didn't really go deep into this. It was just, well, the fans made their voices heard. We want Cody. Now, Cody did bring up the Pat McAfee show when The Rock went on there and called his fans, the Cody fans, the Cody crybabies, and the fans started chanting, Rocky sucks. Cody joked around. He's like, what are we supposed to do with the chicken nuggets? He asked Pat McAfee, and McAfee was, he said it, but he felt a little bit uncomfortable. You take the chicken nuggets and shove them up your ass. And then Cody said he is a fan of The Rock. But the one thing Rock doesn't do well is listen. And Cody said he did not disrespect the bloodline. And then Cody brought up how The Rock slapped him in the face. It wasn't justified. And now Cody is going to hit The Rock back. And at this point, Seth Rollins came out there for his comments on the situation. So, yeah, I was disappointed in the sense that Cody didn't bring up what The Rock said about the bloodline being the only royal family. I got that part, but he could have mentioned that. He could have mentioned that he was trying to be a nice guy and fans really wanted the dream match. But then The Rock had to insult Cody's fans and then go out there and claim the bloodline is the only royal family. Like, he could have gotten deeper into this. I was a little disappointed in that, like I said. But Rollins came out there, and Rollins did a fantastic job here, saying that he understands Cody's decision to face Reigns. Cody needs to finish the story, and he needs to do it now, because if Cody doesn't beat Reigns and Reigns gets through WrestleMania as champion, the glass ceiling is going to just get thicker. And this might be the last chance for somebody to take the title from Reigns. And Rollins brought up how Cody Rhodes was screwed last year. And this year, the deck is stacked even more. The bar has been raised because now Cody has to deal with the biggest movie star in the world, The Rock. Crowd once again chanted Rocky sucks. Rollins said, though, that Cody doesn't have to fight the battle alone. Rollins said he's sick of people like The Rock and Roman Reigns throwing their weight around, and he admitted it was partly his fault. Rollins said he could not have imagined the monster that Roman Reigns would become, and this monster has 2 heads. Cody said that he is somebody, or Rollins is somebody who can be a shield for Cody Rhodes. I thought this was great from Rollins. He did a fantastic job here, and I feel like once again they were teasing a tag team match. They teased it, I think, in the WrestleMania teaser video with the 4 guys going face to face. It definitely feels like a tag team match scenario for night 1. Now, Hamp Connell sent in $2. Thank you, Hamp. Says, how can Seth do 2 matches at WrestleMania with a bad knee? Well, here's the thing. To quote good old JM Jeff Meacham, Rollins said he is going to be 100% for WrestleMania. He is confident of that, and his injury wasn't as severe as they were fearing. He's taken off Elimination Chamber. He should be good to go, 100% for WrestleMania. So he can do 2 matches. The question is, do you want to risk Roman Reigns potentially getting injured or Cody Rhodes getting potentially injured? But in a tag team match, you got 4 people in there, and you can reduce the risk of somebody getting hurt. I do feel like they're doing a tag match, like The Rock is actually going to wrestle, because keep in mind, in a tag match, that's less of a workload for everybody. And you can have Rollins in there for most of the match. And you can have Roman Reigns in there for a good portion of it. And The Rock can come in, do a couple of his big moves, and you don't have to take too much of a chance. That way you get The Rock in a match at WrestleMania. And it is a throwback to the first WrestleMania. Remember, the first WrestleMania was a tag team main event. Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. So you got a throwback to the first WrestleMania, and you can get The Rock in a match. And I mean, they built up the heat. Now, here's an interesting question from Hamp. He sent in another $2. Thank you, Hamp. He says, who is supposed to take the fall in that match? I was thinking about this, and I guess the best outcome would be for The Rock to take the fall. Now, granted, The Rock is The Rock, so would he really put somebody over? But, Cody beating The Rock might humble The Rock a little bit, and then that creates dissension between Rock and Roman Reigns. Roman can be like, you blew it tonight. You better get the job done on Sunday and make sure I leave as champion. And The Rock's not going to appreciate that. And that's when The Rock double crosses Roman Reigns. I would go with Cody pinning The Rock. I would not have Rollins take the fall. And I don't know if Reigns taking the fall is a good idea. But also keep in mind that this is Roman Reigns going for his 1,000th win. So if The Rock took the fall, then Roman Reigns could be pissed at that too, saying, you just cost me my 1,000th win at WrestleMania. You better not screw up again. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued if they end up going this route with the tag team match, but I feel like they're teasing it. They're teasing it pretty strong with the 4 guys in the teaser video. Now, we had a backstage segment with Jey Uso and the New Day. They did confirm that next week it will be Gunther defending the Intercontinental title against Jey Uso. So this is pretty much what I predicted last week when I brought up, Jey Uso wins the tag match, sets up the singles match on TV. And I think my prediction from last week, I'll say it again. I feel like this is where Jimmy will interfere and cost his brother Jey the Intercontinental title. And that sets up Jimmy versus Jey at WrestleMania. We had Liv Morgan versus Zoey Stark in another Elimination Chamber qualifying match, and this went about as expected. It was a decent match, pretty standard TV match here. Zoey gave Liv a DVD on the apron, and then after the commercial break, Liv started to make a comeback. She busted out a code breaker. Zoey kicked out of that. Zoey regained the upper hand, started trash talking. Could not put Liv away though. And then Liv was eventually able to get the win with the Oblivion, and she now qualifies. She joins Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair in the women's chamber match. Backstage, Damian Priest once again told R-Truth the joke is over. Truth was never part of the Judgment Day. That was the truth. And the truth is that the match coming up with JD McDonagh is going to be an execution for R-Truth. We had R-Truth versus JD McDonagh. Good match here with these guys. Entertaining. And Truth held his own. He busted out some of John Cena's moves, his childhood hero. The AA, which Dominic helped out, pulled JD to the outside. But after the break, Truth hit the 5-knuckle shuffle, but then Damian Priest provided a distraction, and JD was able to pick up the win with his move called the Devil Inside. And then after the match, it was execution time. I forgot to mention, before the match, R-Truth was on the phone calling The Miz, trying to get The Miz to book a flight from Lexington, or from Los Angeles to Lexington, Kentucky, where the show was at, which of course is like a 4 or 5 hour flight. So it wasn't going to happen. Adam Pearce had to shove R-Truth through the gorilla position to get him to go out there for the match. And after this match was over, they started to beat down Truth. Truth tried to fight them off, but Priest punched Truth, and then DIY ended up making the save for R-Truth. They had some steel chairs, and in a backstage segment later, they revealed that they got a phone call from Miz, and they helped out Miz. They did him a solid by saving R-Truth, and then R-Truth thanked them, and he referred to them as DX, and he said he had 2 words for them: thank you. So yeah, entertaining stuff here with everyone. And we also had a Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn backstage segment. And Cody said that he believes in Sami Zayn. The fans believe in him, and gave him a hug. A little bit of moral support going into Sami Zayn's match against Shinsuke Nakamura. We then had Becky Lynch coming to the ring for a promo. And she talked about the ups and downs of her wrestling career. She went from failing high school gym to main eventing WrestleMania. She met her husband. She has a daughter, but also she has missed birthdays and weddings. She missed her father's funeral, and she said that she had to explain things to her daughter, like getting hurt, having her shoulder separated, not being able to pick her up. But Becky is focused on getting her world title back. She brought up Rhea Ripley, and then she got a drink from ringside. She had everybody toast. She said that Rhea Ripley better enjoy her final weeks as champion. Now, Nia Jax interrupted. Becky Lynch completely blew off Nia, did not mention her during this promo. And Nia Jax was getting all emotional. I think they were crocodile tears, but she said that God willing, maybe one day she can become a mother like Becky Lynch. And she did say Becky Lynch is going to win the Elimination Chamber with her fighting spirit. And then Nia Jax said nothing is going to stop her from beating Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley came down to the ring. We had a fight breakout, and Nia was cleared out of the ring, and we had a stare down between Becky and Rhea Ripley. I thought it was a good segment with Becky's promo. I would have had her mention Nia. I know that not mentioning her set Nia off and got her to come out there, but they kind of acted like Nia was an afterthought here, which, I mean, she is. But I would have maybe done a little bit more to protect Nia here. With that said, nobody expects her to win. Rhea's going to beat her in her home country, and it'll be Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. That's my prediction at this point. Now we had LA Knight versus Ivar in another Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Good match here. Ivar was out there with the distractions, but LA Knight was able to stay focused for the most part. Ivar got in some moves, and then LA Knight, after the commercial break, delivered a big superplex. Ivar kicked out of that. He tried a body slam, but his back gave out, and eventually he was able to slam Ivar. And then LA Knight avoided the Doomsault and then hit the BFT, got the win. No surprise here. Shout out to Dwayne Atkinson. Thank you for the super chat, Dwayne Atkinson. He sent in $5 and he said, do you think Cody Rhodes will do the same AEW stipulation and not challenge for the world title if he fails to win it at Mania? I don't think they would copy an AEW storyline. They could do that, but why? Why would he even have to do that? Like, I don't think there's any need to. He already have enough embarrassment if he comes up short again. So I don't think they're going to do that. And plus, he doesn't have the power to do that, but he could just say, I won't challenge again. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think he got enough drama going into this that, you know, Seth Rollins really drilled it that if Cody doesn't win, you know, nobody's going to be able to take that title from Roman Reigns. So thank you for that, Dwayne Atkinson. And then backstage, we had Sami Zayn running into Drew McIntyre, and things got a little heated, and Zayn said that Drew is in his way, so Drew stepped aside. But this was a little setup for the end. And then before we got to the main event, we had Adam Pearce backstage with Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Now, Indy Hartwell was bringing up this second chance battle royal with the women, with the winner on next week's Raw getting the final spot or a spot in the Elimination Chamber match. Indy Hartwell talking about how she wanted to get this match in her home country. And then Chelsea Green interrupted. Chelsea Green said she should just be in the chamber. She shouldn't have to be in this loser battle royal. And as she was saying this, Shayna Baszler, who lost and is in the battle royal, was right behind Chelsea Green along with Zoey Stark. And they want a tag team title match, but they're also going to be in the battle royal, and they're looking forward to taking out Chelsea Green on next week's Monday Night Raw. So we got that set up, and then we had Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event. These guys had a classic back in 2016 at NXT TakeOver. A good main event here. Back and forth competitive match with these guys. Zayn mocked the Shinsuke Nakamura, come on. And then Nakamura eventually got the upper hand, worked over Zayn. Zayn then made a comeback, did his big dive over the top rope. We had 2 commercial breaks during this match. And for the final moments of the match, they went back and forth, traded shots. Zayn then avoided the Kinshasa with the Blue Thunder Bomb, and he got the 1-2-3 victory. No, he did not. Of course, Nakamura kicked out of the Blue Thunder Bomb, and then Zayn was going to try to finish him off with the Haluva kick, but then, sure enough, it was set up earlier. Drew McIntyre came down to the ringside area, and that allowed Nakamura to take advantage. He hit the Kinshasa and got the 1-2-3 victory over Sami Zayn. Zayn's losing streak continues. And then after the match, they double teamed him, but then good guy Cody Rhodes came down and made the save and cleared the ring to set up his match next week with Drew McIntyre. Overall, I thought Raw was pretty good. I did feel like it dragged at times, which the 3-hour shows tend to do. So I do agree with Hamp in that sense, but I still thought we had some good wrestling on the show. I thought Seth Rollins did a great job with his promo. They built up Elimination Chamber. It was standard build up, but it was good. I give the show a B-. I did enjoy it overall. But like Camp said, if it was 2 hours, it would be more ideal. But I don't think that's going to change. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Dwayne. Very much appreciated. Says, do you think Jey will win the IC title next week and then have him versus Jimmy for the title at WrestleMania would make the match more must watch, I think? No, I don't think Gunther is losing the IC title on Monday Night Raw. Like after this historic run, it's got to be at WrestleMania or a major event. I don't see him dropping the title on a random episode of Monday Night Raw. And honestly, Jey doesn't need it. Jey is so over right now, and him and Jimmy, you got a match that's going to have a lot of heat right there. They don't need the title. There's no need to have a title change. Somebody can be made that isn't made yet from beating Gunther. And I made the prediction. I think it's going to be Braun Breaker that dethrones Gunther. And that will establish him as the real deal. And they're trying to make Braun Breaker a major star. That's how you do it. Jey 100% does not need that title. And I don't think it would be a good idea to change the title on a random episode of Raw. So I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be Chad Gable either, Joey. I think it's going to be Braun Breaker if I had to make a prediction. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up over on YouTube and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. Enjoy your week, and I will see you all next time. And don't forget, buy a shirt over at NoDQ.com/merch and say yes to NoDQ.com.